somebody else from the portal. All good.
All right, let's switch things over to defense, starting along the line. Obviously, some significant holes along the line. You lose a BJ Green, a Deshaun Mallory, inside, outside. Like, there's going to be some holes to fill, but I almost came away from spring thinking that even despite those holes, that the D-line might be the strength of the defense.
Absolutely.
So let's start off perhaps, talking about inside, what we saw from there in terms of guys and additions, guys making that leap like a CJ Fight. How do we feel about the defensive tackles and kind of those middle two of the front four-man front for Brian Ward?
Yeah, I'm sure CJ Fight's dad will love me talking and bringing up CJ, but I was just very impressed with the year 1 to year 2 jump. I mean, I think it was like the last Thursday or the Wednesday or the Monday before the spring game, like tackle for loss, sack, batted down pass, and I'm like, dude, this kid is a sophomore. Like I just from a pure football standpoint, I was just very, very, very impressed. And then, I mean, just another guy like Justin Wadley, like, yeah, just again, just impressed. Like I think I agree with you, Brad, where it's like Deshaun Mallory is a huge loss, I think, in a lot of ways. Just as a person, I think he was really cool, but just as the player, the big physical guy he was, that was able to just really kind of set the tone in the middle. But from what I've seen, just from CJ and Justin, I mean, I was very, very, very impressed. And I know, obviously, you lose Anthony Cooper, and that's kind of it's not the most ideal thing in the world. But I mean, I'm not. But at least my worry meter went down a little bit for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that just looking at the tackles, with CJ, Jacob Kangaika, Jeff Clark, that chop trio right there, I think ASU's in good hands. And for me, it was like, who's going to be at least that fourth guy? Is it going to be maybe a Tristan Monday with his familiarity with the defense? But I think by the end of spring, the guy that really jumped out to me was J.P. Dieter.
Oh yeah,
from Purdue.
Yeah,
and so I think like maybe if you get those four in a good rotation and I don't know if you had the same experience, but talking to any D lineman, they raved about Coach Deron Reynolds and the teaching,
absolutely,
and the growth there. So those four guys, they're all the entire line, but a guy who just eats up football like CJ Fight and just that knowledge and that jump. Jeff Clark with that experience. Jacob Kangaika with just the sheer mass and strength. Yes. JP Dieter's showed some quickness and ability to pass rusher. I really came away feeling good about the interior.
Yeah, we got Mr. Sun Devil Science historian here. CJ Fight, committed, decommitted, recommitted. Is there any player at ASU that went through that path, A, and B, end up being an impact player that CJ Fight maybe isn't right now, but can be? I think CJ Fight is probably it.
Yeah, man. Okay, put me on the spot. I have to think because the kind of stuff happened a little less common back in the day. I might have to look that up. Yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of looking on and reading the reports. It seems like a lot of these new additions are real substantial. I know that it's a position group in total where there's some expected attrition, and you've already seen some of that. Sam Benjamin entering the transfer portal, and some of these names are just ones that make sense. Mm-hmm. They're guys. They're not in the too deep, and even if a guy like Benjamin who played a fair amount last year, they just upgraded a lot. So there's nothing wrong with that, and you would imagine probably he's not it's just an educated guess that he's not the last from the position group to enter the portal. But I mean, you just got to be real happy, and we've talked about this even entering the spring, and just looking at the stuff on paper and what guys like Clark and Kangaika bring to this program from other programs. It just seems like it would make sense. Like these are good solid pickups, especially working within the framework of what ASU can offer for transfers and things like that. But to hear that, it's definitely a plus, because you had some higher level guys like a Mallory, like a BJ Green last year, but it looks like we're looking at quite a bit better depth this year than last.
I didn't even mention